Asia has always been one of the most popular destinations for travelers from every corner of the world. From the sun-kissed beaches of Southeast Asia to the majestic mountains of the Himalayas, from ancient temples that echo history to bustling modern cities full of life, millions of people have flocked to Asia every year. Tourism has not just been a way for people to enjoy themselves. It has been the lifeblood of many Asian economies. But in 2025, the picture has changed dramatically. Tourist numbers have dropped sharply in many countries, leaving governments, businesses, and families struggling to survive. In some nations, this sudden slowdown threatens to cause economic collapse. In this video, we will explore 7 Asian countries facing the most serious challenges due to the tourism crisis. We will look at how the decline in visitors has affected local economies, what it means for ordinary citizens, and why some countries are more vulnerable than others. By the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of the scale of this crisis and the human stories behind the statistics. Let's begin our countdown, starting with the Maldives. Number 7, the Maldives. The Maldives is often called paradise on Earth. Its turquoise waters, white sandy beaches, and overwater villas attract honeymooners, luxury travelers, and holidaymakers from around the globe. Tourism has always been the backbone of the Maldivian economy. Nearly 70% of the country's revenue comes from visitors. When tourists began cancelling trips and flights were reduced, the Maldives felt the impact immediately. Hotels that once buzzed with international guests are now quiet. Many resorts have closed, and staff who depended on tourism for income, housekeepers, chefs, boat operators, and local guides, are struggling to make ends meet. The government had invested heavily in tourism infrastructure, borrowing billions to build luxury resorts, airports, and private islands. Now, with limited income, repaying these debts has become a major challenge. On top of that, rising sea levels threaten islands and resorts, increasing repair costs. Small businesses, like diving schools, souvenir shops, and food stalls, are closing one by one. Entire villages are losing residents as families move abroad in search of better opportunities, leaving behind towns that resemble ghost towns. Without a recovery in tourism, the Maldives faces a deep economic uncertainty, and the potential for collapse is real if the crisis continues. Number 6, Cambodia. Cambodia is home to Angkor Wat, one of the world's most famous temple complexes. Millions of travelers have come to see this ancient wonder and explore cities like Siem Reap and Phnom Penh. Tourism was one of Cambodia's most important sources of revenue. In 2025, however, tourist arrivals have fallen sharply. Fewer flights, higher travel costs, and global uncertainties have discouraged visitors. Angkor Wat alone contributed over half of Cambodia's tourism income, and the loss of these visitors has had ripple effects across the country. Hotels in Siem Reap are shutting down. Tuk-tuk drivers who used to ferry tourists have no work. Restaurants that thrived on travelers now sit empty. Families who relied on tourism for daily income are facing severe hardship. Tourism taxes that once funded schools, hospitals, and infrastructure are now insufficient. Meanwhile, debt from building airports, hotels, and resorts is becoming harder to service. If the decline continues, Cambodia could face a crisis even deeper than anyone had predicted, affecting both the economy and social stability. Nepal, home to the Himalayas and Mount Everest, has long depended on travelers seeking trekking experiences and high-altitude climbs. Tourism supports thousands of guides, porters, hotel staff, and local businesses. In 2025, fewer climbers and trekkers are arriving. Rising travel costs, limited flights, and, safety concerns have reduced visitor numbers. Villages that relied heavily on trekking tourism are struggling. Hotels, lodges, and shops are closing, and people are losing jobs at an alarming rate. The government also relies on revenue from climbing permits, which fund local roads, schools, and hospitals. With that income declining, essential services are at risk. Debt from constructing airports, hotels, and other tourism-related infrastructure adds pressure to the economy. Young people are leaving Nepal to work abroad, weakening the workforce. Without a revival in tourism, Nepal is on fragile ground and risks a severe economic downturn. Sri Lanka, with its golden beaches, lush tea plantations, and historic temples, has also been hit hard. Tourism has been a lifeline, helping the country rebuild after civil war and natural disasters. But empty resorts, cancelled flights, and declining visitors are hurting businesses and workers. Families who depended on tourists are losing savings, and poverty is spreading. Tourism taxes that previously funded fuel, food, healthcare, and education are now insufficient. Rising debt, inflation, and social unrest are increasing tensions. Even smaller villages that relied on tourism are facing abandonment. Sri Lanka's situation shows how quickly a nation can suffer when a major economic sector is cut off. Without urgent measures, the country faces deepening economic and social crises. Thailand has long been a tourism powerhouse. Its beaches, vibrant street food culture, and bustling cities attract millions of visitors annually. Tourism contributes significantly to the economy. In 2025, visitor numbers have dropped sharply. Hotels are closing, airlines are reducing flights, and night markets are half empty. Thousands of workers, from tour guides to small business owners, have lost their jobs. The government relies heavily on tourism taxes to fund public projects and essential services. The loss of this revenue is slowing development, reducing services, and increasing debt. Inflation is making life more expensive for ordinary citizens. Cultural heritage sites, temples, and festivals are also affected. With fewer visitors, there is less money to maintain and preserve these important sites. Thailand risks losing both economic stability and cultural heritage. Indonesia, Asia's largest archipelago, faces a serious tourism crisis in 2025. Regions like Bali, Lombok, and Yogyakarta have long depended on international visitors. When tourists decline, the effects are immediate. Resorts are closing, beaches are empty, and airports report fewer passengers. Small businesses, including surf schools, scooter rentals, and markets, are struggling. Workers who relied on daily income from tourism are unemployed, and families are pushed into poverty. Even farmers and fishermen who supplied hotels and restaurants are affected, showing how deeply tourism impacts the broader economy. The government faces billions of dollars in debt from airports, highways, and other tourism-related projects. Inflation is increasing the cost of essentials like food and fuel. Social unrest is rising as communities protest job losses and shrinking incomes. Without urgent action to revive tourism or create alternative industries, Indonesia is at risk of severe economic collapse. The Philippines is arguably the hardest hit. Known for stunning beaches, vibrant festivals, and friendly people, millions of jobs depended on tourism: hotels, restaurants, resorts, transportation services, and local businesses. In 2025, tourist arrivals have fallen sharply. Popular destinations like Boracay, Palawan, and Cebu are seeing fewer travelers. Hotels and travel agencies are closing. Small businesses, like food stalls and souvenir shops, sit empty. Families struggle to make ends meet, and poverty is spreading rapidly. Even farmers and fishermen who supplied resorts are affected. Government investments in airports, roads, and tourism promotion are not generating the returns needed to repay debts. Inflation is rising, and unemployment is increasing. The Philippines risks long-term damage, fewer international flights, cancelled investments, and a growing number of workers leaving the country. Without swift solutions, crime, poverty, and social unrest could worsen. These 7 countries, the Maldives, Cambodia, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Indonesia, and the Philippines, show how dependent nations can be on tourism. When visitors stop coming, the effects ripple through the entire economy, touching every sector from hotels to farmers, from schools to hospitals. The 2025 tourism crisis highlights an important lesson. Countries need diverse economies and alternative industries to survive shocks. Relying too heavily on tourism can make a nation vulnerable to global events, natural disasters, or economic downturns. Recovery will take time, innovation, and strategic planning. Governments must find ways to attract tourists back, while also supporting alternative industries to protect citizens and communities. Which of these countries do you think will recover first? Comment below. I'll be reading and replying to your thoughts. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Click the bell icon to get notifications for our next video. Thank you for staying with us, and see you in the next video.